I'll tell you, my heart was in the right place and I did the best I could to grow them, but I didn't know what I knew today and I didn't know how to grow them in a business world, right?
Yeah. What's up? What's up, everyone? I'm excited today. I don't know why. All right, today we're doing a multi-topic episode, which are really fun. We're going to touch on perspective. We're going to touch on innovation and evolving yourself. And then we'll wrap up with a bit of math to break things down.
Oh, fun.
I love math. All right, so welcome back to the Hello Hair Pro podcast. My name is Todd. I'm here with my wife and business partner, Jen.
Hello.
Jen, you're a little stuffy.
A little.
That's all right. We're still going to do this.
Shit happens.
It does, and here we are.
And here we are.
Show must go on.
Yeah, I have arrived.
So
we actually put it off for a few days, and I'm here.
Yeah, we pushed the episode back, but that's all right.
Yeah.
All right, this show's brought to you by our friends at Ping Pong Design and Marketing, but we'll get there.
Ping pong.
We'll tell you about them in a bit. All right, so let's start off with perspective. I think changing how you view scenarios is the easiest way to make a mindset shift. Okay,
I'll say it again. Mind shift change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
However you want to look at it.
For sure. And perspective is so important and something that you can control.
Yeah.
I don't think people always are aware of that.
Yeah, I think because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Look.
And it's your perspective in a moment at a time.
Uh-huh.
And you generally react how you always have. So it's hard to see a new perspective.
Exactly.
Or a new way to do things or a new way to react.
For sure. So changing your mindset and changing how you see things it's definitely work. It's putting in the reps, which we talk about a lot. It's not easy, but it is simple and you can do it. It's just
you're going to get such a big return on doing this.
That's not in my notes, but that's such a great point.
Yeah.
You do get a massive return if you put in the work.
I don't know what to work on first. If you can work on this, a huge return and huge success will follow.
For sure. For show. All right. So perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Start to think of things like this. So instead of saying or thinking, don't fail, you should be thinking, win. Don't think what not to do. Think what to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because our minds are more wired for that.
Go
ahead.
Okay, don't forget your point.
Okay.
I don't think failing is a negative. And I do
No.
I do think a lot of people associate I can't fail, what would I do? You can learn, change, and have a new perspective on when you try something new and put yourself out there and put yourself in a position of vulnerability. And if it doesn't work out, the amount of stuff that you learn, and if you are able to change your perspective, grow and change, a lot of wonderful things will come out of that.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing I had here before I get to my point, I made a note so I won't forget.
Thank you.
I do that all the time. I forget because I try to listen. It's important, right?
And I'm quick to just talk.
So I think sometimes we look at other people or other businesses or competition in general and we're like, don't let that person beat me. Don't let that competition. Instead of thinking that, focus on creating opportunities for success. Create opportunities for yourself. So you're more in the positive mindset. It's more of a positive, proactive way to move forward, I think. Yeah. So what I was going to say is I saw a post somewhere that said, and this works with kids. So instead of saying everyone listening's probably seen this. I think it was on Instagram. I just don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll say to your kids, hey, don't eat over there. But instead what you should be saying, hey, let's eat at the table.
Right.
So it's more of a positive. You're not,
hey, come eat with me over here.
Right. Exactly. And I think perspective is just a huge piece of the puzzle. It's a really, really big piece of the puzzle. And if you can be optimistic, and so I'm talking about sincere, honest effort, optimistic, not just it's a great day. You post it on social media and then under your breath, you're like, fuck these people. Like, that's not what I'm talking about.
I am optimistic since I was a little kid. I am optimistic to a fault, like, which honestly I think is why.
Explain that.
I will.
Okay.
It is to a fault, but it is why I feel I have arrived at how successful we are today. I don't know. I always look on the bright side. I always look at what's the solution. I always look at what can I learn from this? How can I improve? It's probably wicked fucking annoying to a lot of people because I've had my moments of like doubt where I'm like down on myself too. Don't get me wrong on that. But for the most part, genuinely, and you could probably ask people that I was like friends with in fourth grade, like literally a fourth grader, and be like, hey, you knew Jen in fourth grade? Yeah, she was wicked optimistic. She was always happy. It's just my nature. So when something hits me, like it hits me, but then like my perspective goes to the opportunity, the optimistic side of the solution, which I feel very blessed to have that perspective because I think it is unique. I do think a lot of people go to the negative. It's really hard to look at sometimes the positive in things.
Yeah, it's work.
That's why I say
it takes training yourself.
Yeah, and I just kind of if it can be in your nature, I feel like part of that was in my nature, and probably to a fault because it put me in positions where I was like, I can do this, I can do anything, and a lot of those things I could not do, and I fucking fell on my face. But then I was like, well, I can do it again. So it was kind of bittersweet in that sense, right?
So yes, bittersweet, but more sweet, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Because maybe I'm optimistic to a fault now, and maybe I learned it from.
I must have rubbed off
but
on you.
I just think if you're willing to make the changes and progress, then there's no shame in that game.
Yeah.
There's nothing like you're trying. If you're trying, if you're putting in an honest effort.
Always. Well, you know me.
I'm assuming that people listening are putting in an honest effort. Like they're actually making strides to make changes so that they can better themselves. Because that's what the whole game is about, regardless of industry.
Yeah. We talk a lot about you can put an idea into the universe. I think people use that often. But if you don't have actionable steps to make what you put into the universe come true, then you just put it in the universe. Like you could say, I want to win the lottery, but if you don't buy a ticket, you're never winning the lottery. Like in that kind of sense, you know, there's stuff you have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, there are actions that you have to take. It takes work. And then, so anybody that would question that, I would say, you know what, go off just for a bit, go off and practice being positive, practice shifting your perspective to appreciate what you have and what not necessarily focusing on what you don't have, and then come back to me.
That was perfect.
Sorry, your mic was off.
Sorry. Focusing on what you have and not what you don't have.
Perspective.
Because I do feel it's very easy for our mind to go in what we don't have and what we want and not what's actually sitting right in front of us and the beautiful things that are present in our life today.
Yeah. And so where I was going with this, kind of a little cheesy because I don't think anyone's going to actually do it. But if you do it and you reach out, I'll friggin' buy you a coffee or a glass of wine, or
cool.
You'll get some sort of prize if someone does this. I want you, if you struggle with being optimistic, I want you to practice it, put in an honest effort, and then I want you to come back to me. Okay. And I guarantee that you're better. Because even if you're like, hey, I realized I don't even want to be in this fucking industry. Even if you realize something like that, I would say, great.
Cool. You arrived at something honestly. That's amazing.
Yeah, correct. So even though you might view it as a negative, you might be like, damn, I thought I was on the right track.
That's okay.
The fact that you realized you weren't is reason to celebrate.
I would agree 100%. I also think, and I feel like this falls into perspective, and if I'm going too far to one side, sorry about that. I have a cold.
You do have a cold.
So I think a lot of times, you mentioned social media. So I think a lot of times it's easy. Like if you look at even probably you could say what Todd, you're like, I want to have a podcast. Todd and Jen have one. It looks so cool. You understand though, like, or you need to understand that you're arriving at a day that Todd and I are at today, but not who Todd and I were a year ago, a year before that, or a year before that. So it's easy in a perspective world to be like, I just want to be like them. I'm going to do what they're doing today. But you don't realize what we did for the years leading up to who we were today.
Correct.
So I think it's important, especially in the social media platform world, to whoever you follow and you aspire to be and you look up to, realize who you want to be, who they are today. Maybe you should look at the first post they put out when they first got on social media, because you could see the growth there in what it takes to get that perspective and that mindset to arrive at who they are today.
I'll take it a step further.
Okay.
I would contact the person.
Love this.
And I would say, hey, I want to be like you. I went back as far as I can publicly on your social media platforms. Is there any way you'd be willing to share what happened leading up to this first post?
Awesome. Yeah.
Because I guarantee you they struggled with all sorts of stuff.
They did. We all do.
No, I know.
But I love that. I think that's amazing. And I think it's a tidbit.
I thought you were telling me. I was like, yeah, I know.
No, I think it's a very important point, because people I always realize like they just look at the success of somebody, but not, again, going back to all of the failures or all of the hills they traveled up and down to get to where they are today. Like that part of the story is very, very important.
Definitely. So the next thing I want to talk about is this is sort of blurring together. So I want to just sort of pull it all together. Okay. So we're going to talk about evolution and sort of the idea of reinventing ourselves.
Okay. So before we go there,
okay,
listeners, I have a really big ask to ask.
Okay.
Really big.
What's happening?
We're talking perspective and optimistic and all that.
Okay.
There's a wedding that I want to go to in November for Todd's family.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to go because he doesn't like going to weddings.
It's not necessarily weddings.
So either way, I think if enough people can give us a review and comment, like, do all these things, reach out to us. Like, I want like all of you to just reach out. Todd, go to the wedding. Todd, go to the wedding. I want to get dressed up and go to a wedding. I actually kind of want to wear sneakers with a dress. It's kind of my vibe. But anyway, if I can get enough of you to reach out, I think I can get Todd to go to this wedding. So please help me.
Look, here's the deal. I don't want to let anyone down. Like,
Great, don't let me down.
Like, I know my dad wants me to go, and obviously we were invited.
I want to go.
So the people that invited us want us to go, and you want to go. I get it. I just don't do well in, like, I struggle with big social events where there are a lot of people.
I'm trying to con you into going by having all the listeners reach out.
It's not a con. It's a risk. It's an uncomfortable situation that I know that I have to put myself in.
Mm-hmm. And growth will happen.
I understand. It doesn't mean I like it, and it doesn't mean I'm going without pouting.
Anyway, listeners, reach out. If you want to even pick our colors, I'm in.
So pick our colors.
We're matching.
All right, let's
move on.
Let's not get ridiculous.
Reach out.
All right.
Ping pong.
Look, evolution and reinventing ourselves. I say this all the time. If I haven't seen someone in like 2 years, 3 years, I assume I don't know who they are anymore.
Great assumption.
Now, that's based on me. They may be the same person, good or bad, that they were. Because some people choose to not progress. Some people choose to not take those risks and go to the wedding. Some people choose to remain complacent.
Yeah.
And they're just happy in whatever they have. I'm not here to judge that. That's not my life. I don't want any part of it at all. So let's flip that. If you haven't seen me in a year or two, you have no clue who I am. I've made so much progress since then.
Same.
I have changed, whether it's good or bad in your eyes.
Right.
I have changed a lot.
Yep.
So that's why I wanted to talk about sort of
it's important.
This topic.
Yeah,
because
I love it.
I think, yes, it is important. And my main point is that if you're successful, so say you have a business, you're a hair pro, you either are independent, you're running your own chair in a great commission salon like Hello Hair, or you're a salon owner, whether it's, a rental situation or a commission situation is ridiculous, is irrelevant. Eventually, what got you to where you are won't be enough to progress any further.
Agreed. Yeah.
So you have to do something different. And I feel like that's a missing piece that in this industry, not a lot of people are talking about.
So I'm going to sound, I feel like, a little bit like a dummy right now, but
nope.
there's a saying, and you're going to know it. So that's why I can start talking like
The
this.
team that takes you.
No, that's one, but hold on before there.
That's what I thought you were going.
Because I love that one too, and I'll get there. But it's kind of like that doing something different, because if you do the same thing over and over again, but you expect a different result, like there's the
definition of insanity.
Yes. Like, because
doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew to help me arrive at what I was trying to say. The next part is where
I don't think that's actually the definition of insanity, and I don't know if
but it's a saying
Albert
that
Einstein
people
actually said it.
Right.
But that's what people relate it to.
But it's interesting because I will say I've been in certain situations where I am literally doing the same thing or putting the same thing in the universe and taking the exact same action steps and wondering why I'm not getting a different result, not realizing like I'm the problem. I'm the person, or I'm the thing that needs to change in order for that to change. And that's not always an easy solution to arrive to when you're like, whoa, I'm the problem. Holy crap. Like that's not a nice always feeling, I guess. But once you do arrive there,
realizing it's you,
you're the problem.
That doesn't feel
the
good.
magic happens after. Like you get over it, you grow, you change, and you become a better person. And this whole evolution or reinventing yourself is where that starts. Like it's pretty amazing. Like I said, it's not easy to digest that you might be the issue. Of course not. We all want to feel like we're amazing. I always say like I like to be liked, but there are times where I'm the factor of why I'm not liked. And what does that look like? Maybe it's okay in that situation. Maybe it's not. What do I do? And then there's the point, like you said, that you do it, because I can't say that one well either.
The team one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so the team that takes you from 1 to 10 won't be the team that takes you from 10 to 100. Right.
And we've said that in a bunch of mentoring calls and be like, oh. And that was hard for me to swallow, because I'm huge on team. It's just something that I thrive in. So when our team changes, it's not always easy for me, right? Todd can truly look at the opportunity. He can spin it in a way that's just not spin it, but like explain it to me in a way that I'm like, whoa, that makes so much sense. But I don't know. I'm down to like, I want to work with the same people for like 50 years or something, which I know it's not achievable. And I know it's not even always healthy, but it's difficult when those things change, but also when they do. And once I realize and arrive at why they're changing, that evolution, that reinventing yourself, or looking at our business differently. And I always do things better moving forward. So it's maybe not always hard in that moment, or it is always hard for me in that moment, excuse me.
Right.
But then the next part is where, again, like I say, cheesy as it is, but the magic happens. Like I'm down and out. I feel irritated or whatever it is, but then like I grow from it. And the next people that come on our team just got that much better. And we're doing so many more better things with them, which is just super cool. But like I said, we've talked about this from the beginning of this even podcast, like it's not always easy, like that stuff's hard.
No, none of this is easy.
And sometimes it's not even that, I'm the problem or you're the problem in those situations, but there's growth that comes out of it. And what can we do better? And we bring on the next person. Like, what can we do better for the team and for the business?
Yeah. So there may be people that are your 50-year, work colleague friends. Mm-hmm. There may be, but here's how I look at it. And I learned this a while back through a business mentor of mine, is that, the reason that the team that you start with and that gets you to your first goal won't be necessarily the team that takes you to your next goal is because you'll need different things. Mm-hmm. You might need a different set of skills from a person that you didn't need up until that point. And if the people on your team can't serve that purpose, now here's where it gets interesting, because if you do have that 20, 30, 50 year work friend, how you want things, that means they're going to have to be willing to grow. Mm-hmm. Generally,
I know
people aren't growing. So when I hate using this word, but when you're an entrepreneur, mm-hmm. you have a very aggressive mindset. Mm-hmm. You're far and few between. Everyone says they're an entrepreneur. I'm talking about actually building businesses. I'm talking about actually building businesses, actually getting punched in the face by the universe or your government, or having a walkout or whatever in the salon industry. Like all that stuff happens.
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard to find someone that's like, I'm going to be as aggressive as you are and grow along with you, because those people are going to tend to go do their own thing.
Right.
And I'm not talking about going to rent a chair. I'm talking about, and they might, that's a thing too. I'm not putting it down. I always have to preface it because I think independent stylists,
They get so offended.
yeah, I think they're cool.
So quickly.
I think they're cool. And I think there's a place for it. I don't think it's the best for everyone. And I think that's the spin the industry puts on it. Now we can touch on that in a different podcast. But so the reason I think most people won't succeed, and that's actually a fact. It's not my opinion. Most people that set out, I think it's maybe like a third of entrepreneurs make it. Something like that. I feel like I saw that recently.
I know it's small. So
yeah. So the reason that most people won't succeed is because they're not willing to stop doing the thing that got them to where they are when it's no longer the thing, in quotes. So you start out with this sort of set of practices of how you're going to run your business. And then eventually, as the world changes and things shift, you can't just continue doing that. It's not going to work forever. So we get in our own way, if that makes sense. Then what happens? This is what I see. So now, so say, for example, you're a salon owner. And for the first 10 years of running your business, you just did it this way. And that's all you know. And you're like, this is the way. And then you're starting to notice a decline. Your staff's not hanging out quite as long as they used to. People are moving on quickly. Clients coming in, is down.
You're not as profitable as you thought you were. Yeah,
you're not as profitable, or maybe you're not profitable at all, et cetera, et cetera. So all this fun stuff. Now, the next thing comes along, and what do? You take aim at it. You have a problem with the next thing because you're frustrated. So instead of letting go of your ego, having that perspective shift and being like, how can I utilize this? You still want to hold on to the glory days, right? And you're doing yourself and your team, your family, your friends, and anyone else around you, even the person handing you your coffee in the morning, you're doing them a disservice.
Huge.
Because you're not willing to innovate and you're not willing to evolve. I
agree. Are you done with that thought?
The only other thing I was going to say is, like, when you get into that cycle, it's not like that's not a good place to live. It's not. You're mentally, it's not.
So what I see, and I have myself to speak for,
So then what? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
And I have a good friend that opened a business, and we're on the same page on this one. And it's why I actually partnered with Todd on this business, because I understood what it took to take a business to the next level. And I knew my way of thinking and my personality would never get there, ever. Not on my own. And that's hard to swallow too, when you realize, like, there's a weakness in there. Like, I want to do it on my own, but I knew I couldn't. And I was.
So can I interrupt? Will you hold your thought for 1 second?
Yeah.
You could have. It probably would have taken you longer because you would have a lot to tackle.
There's no way. I could not have.
I disagree.
I love you for that, but I can tell you right now, I could not have grown.
It's the first time in our podcast that we've said,
true
I love
story.
You.
I could not have grown into the woman I am today. I could not have taken the risks, the challenges, come out of them. There's no way. I couldn't have.
Okay.
I knew that.
Okay.
I had a vision, and I knew I wanted to get there, and I knew I could not get there on my own.
Look, I'm about to take credit.
Yeah,
I'm taking credit. Let's do it.
And that's getting above
I'm the best.
That's we're talking about, like, reinventing yourself. Oh my God. Reinventing yourself. But it was also me getting over my ego, because in my last salon, I was the one. So, like, there was even a saying. It was like WWJD. WWJD. Yeah.
I remember
staff
this.
would say it all the time, right? What would Jen do? It was all the time. Like, I was on like this, my ego was big. Like, there was just so many things happening, and I loved it because I was good to my staff. I did treat them well. I know some podcasts I'm like, sorry that I might have treated them like shit too, but I'll tell you, my heart was in the right place, and I did the best I could to grow them. But I didn't know what I knew today, and I didn't know how to grow them in a business world, right?
Yeah.
But so where I was going was, me and my friend who has a whole different business. Let's say she has a bakery. She doesn't, but I'm just going to keep it that she has a bakery because, you know, I love.
We're big on the bakeries.
I'm on the bakery.
I used it in an article
I know
recently.
You did. But we both opened. I opened a salon. She opens her bakery, right? And we opened it to help people, like not even thinking of money. Like I need enough money to like take care of my family,
solve
right?
your problems.
Yeah. And she needs enough to do the same for her family. But at the end of the day, we want to solve people's problems. We want to take care of them. I really want to take care of people. But then the bakery and the salon gets bigger than us. And we don't know how to run it as a business. And we keep running with our heart. And these two businesses have to evolve. I'm lucky I had Todd. So I was able to evolve into a legit business owner that I had not been able to before. And she doesn't have a Todd. So her business, in order for it to progress where she wants it to be, it's hard because her heart is still in it and she can't step away from certain roles to really run her business and reinvent not just herself, but herself as a business owner. And unfortunately, like if she knows this, and if it doesn't get to that, it's going to close. And she's literally changing lives, and it potentially could close just because she can't figure out how to come over from this, like, I created this business to help everybody, and then come into just the business owner that then facilitates this business and how to help people. I don't know. I feel for her, and I don't know how to, I can't help her because I'm still working through my own stuff as a business owner, but we're running a business now, and I feel like a business owner, and we're doing these things, and it was a lot of work to arrive at that. It was probably a very long-winded story. Sorry for that, but it's not always easy to just have a business and then run it the way you want to, because you think you want to do something because you're going to do it better than all the ones you worked in. But then when you get in it and you realize what you have to do to take care of all of the stuff that people need from you, if you don't have a system and a business like at that level, you're not actually taking care of anybody. You're just running yourself into the ground.
Yeah, I have two thoughts.
Okay, great.
On what you just said. The first one is I'm not necessarily sure I know what you're talking about. So off air, if I can help, let me know and I'll help.
Sure.
I'll help her. My second thought is this. In this industry, we have the people that are, everything is emotion and driven from caring for others and welcoming everybody and all that stuff. And that's all amazing. I love it. Yeah. I think it's great. And then on the other side, you have people that are like, we got to look at the numbers and this is how it is. And it's just facts and math. And I love that too. It's amazing. We have to start living in the middle.
Agreed.
In order to evolve and actually make changes in this industry. I look around at this industry and it's constantly claiming that it's constantly evolving and changing.
But it's not.
But I don't see it.
No.
I do not really see any change in this industry from probably like 30 to 40 years ago. We're talking about just the 80s. The bulk of people are booking on pen and paper. That's not innovating. That's not changing. You're talking about hair trends changing. It's cyclical.
Yeah.
They come around.
And the people that are booking on pen and paper are afraid to go online.
Yeah.
Afraid.
Different topic, and we can get there too on a different day. But I think we need to start looking at things through both sides of our brain. You have the analytical side and the creative side, and we need to embrace both. You can't just elevate one and be like, this half of a person is good. This half of a brain. Right. It's an incomplete thought. It's an incomplete claim, in my opinion. I just had this conversation recently, actually, with someone. I went out into the driveway because I thought it would be a 5-minute call, and an hour and 20 minutes later, I came back inside because it was a great conversation, and we can turn it into a podcast soon.
Okay.
What we talked about. So as far as like where we go next, so like what are the questions we need to ask in order to make some changes? These will be different, I think, for everyone, but it starts with working backwards, reverse engineering. It starts with what do you want and what are your goals and where do you want to be? Where do you want to go?
I was going to say, like, you have your hopes and dreams and beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's where that starts. But that's where a lot of businesses start and stop. And they focus on their hopes and their dreams and their beliefs, but not in what comes next. Because what happens when your hope and dream is, let's just say, to open a salon and hire a few people, and then you hire more than you even thought, and you got busier than you even expected, but you're not running it like a business. So you have this
Correct.
hope and this dreams, and this is what I was kind of like getting at is you just sold something to a bunch of people that are looking up to you to do something for them and create the hope and dreams into a business, but you never got past the hope and dream stage. You didn't create it to be a business. What happens when my hopes and dreams come true? What do I do then? Wing it?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Wing it in the beginning, I guess, but don't wing it when your hopes and dreams become a reality and now you have like 5 or 6 or 7 people looking up to you like, how do I do this better? And you don't know what to do and you give bad advice, or you don't even know what to do. So you just start like throwing up curveballs.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important. Like, it's not that hard to just like start a business. Honestly, it's really not. The hard part becomes...
It's wicked easy.
It's wicked easy. The hard part is actually
That's what
living
our
it.
country is based on.
I know, doing it and thriving in it. So your hopes and dreams get it started. But if you don't have the next part, shame on you.
Yeah, the information is out there now. It's 2022, almost 23. And all of the information you seek, you can probably find online for free.
It's why small business open all the time.
Get yourself a library card.
Yes,
Go to your local library. And there's the books. That's it. I mean, the information is there. I think people have to ask themselves those questions I said earlier, which was like, what's your vision? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself where you're at now? But then you have to be willing to dive into like, what is it truly going to take to get there? What sacrifices am I going to have to make? You know, we make sacrifices and they might seem small to some people, like even recording this podcast. Right now, we're taking time away from our kids to record a podcast because we want to help people. And it's important to us. And we're
I don't
willing.
feel 100%. It could be easy to be
and you don't even feel well.
Figure it out, but...
Probably got the vid.
Stop it.
All right.
Funny enough.
So if you just keep pushing down the path that's not working because of some like confirmation bias that you have, nothing's going to change.
Agreed.
So don't hold on. Don't die on the hill because of your pride. I think it's important to have pride, but you can be proud of what you've achieved and also then say like, this no longer serves me.
Yes.
So I'm going to do X, Y, and Z now.
I'm changing.
And I'm waving my hands everywhere.
You don't need a bunch of people to sign off on it.
No.
You
sign off on it.
the only person that matters in this equation. Because if you fail and that's it. If you fail, no one else is there. They'll pick you up. I get it. They'll probably take you out for dinner or whatever. But it's on you. Yeah. So you're the only one that needs to make that decision. And you need to find a new perspective and reinvent yourself in order to do that.
Agreed. All right. So we're going to move on to a little mathing. But first,
we're going to talk about
ping pong.
Ping pong.
Design and marketing. Look, here's the deal. If you want to get more leads to your business, reach out to Ping Pong, reach out to Chris. If you need a website, if you need help, he'll do a website audit for you. If you're looking for pay-per-click, Google ads, SEO, all the stuff that I'm talking about that you're like, what is he even talking about? Chris will break it down for you. He'll make it simple. Go on his website, check out the blogs. I don't know why. I'm just saying check out the blogs.
The blogs are amazing.
Anyways, right? This is not about me. This is about Ping Pong. And they're offering our audience a special. Actually, you know what? They're offering our special audience a special discount. So it's on an SEO campaign and your first month is $1.
What?
So go to the show notes, reach out to Chris, let him know what you need, and he's going to be honest with you. And I send people to Chris because I trust him. I trust Ping Pong. Yeah. And what they've done for our business, I want them to do for every business, even the business that's across the street from me. Everyone can succeed.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the show. Time to math.
Math.
All right.
I might zone out on this one.
I just
Just kidding.
said that we need both sides of our brain.
Yeah.
And I get
actually
it.
like
This
math.
is a creative industry and people don't always like to math. But if you humor me a bit, I believe that I can help anyone listening, anyone you tell about this, and then anyone that like, I can help anyone, to be honest with this.
Agreed. Listen up, peeps.
Step one.
Because you got to math if you just gotta.
Yes. From time to time, you got to math. Step one, keep an open mind.
Clear out the cobwebs. Open your mind.
Yeah. Fire it up. I don't know what you have
Let's
to
do
do. Take a little run down your driveway and back, down the street and back, whatever. Do something. Open up your mind. Step two, I need you to decide what metrics we're going to measure and then define the method for doing that. So basically, that's a wordy way of saying you need a why. Like, why are you even doing this?
Okay.
All right. I think that our industry, the hair industry, must, all in caps, stop looking at problems with this short-term sort of vision.
Okay.
All right. Short-sighted view, however you want to think of it. We also have to look at what we do have. Okay. We said this earlier. And forget about what we don't have.
Yes.
Right? So you think of a client and you're like, this client canceled their appointment. I'm just coming off the top of my head. This client canceled their
Oh, it'll
appointment.
hit lots of hearts right now.
That was $200. Wrong. You're
Listen
wrong.
up, peeps,
You're
'cause
wrong.
This is
You're
important.
fucking wrong.
I'm gonna take a pause here because
Okay, pause. I'm gonna mute my mic. Go.
Okay, I'm gonna cough too. Hold on a second. Okay. It is really easy in the short term to look at the appointment that was canceled day of, and it sucks. Don't get me wrong. Like, I look at my week and I have numbers that I want to hit too. Business owner, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's where I want to be. And it's rough. I had it happen on Friday. Actually, I'll be real. So I had an appointment. I had 2 appointments that had to cancel. One was a medical situation. One, I have no idea. She just needed to move out. And if we're talking money, that was $320 plus 2 $320.
Either way.
It's, anyway, like $700, right? So I like at first was like irritated, like, oh, these people, whatever. One ended up coming back and it was a very serious medical emergency. So I'm like, thank God. Like, I just was like, I hope you're okay. Let me know if you need anything. The other one, I put it wherever. And you know what I did with the day? Rather than me focus on the money I lost, I went for a run. I helped grocery shop for the family. Todd and I got in a meeting and we made the best of it. Like, I didn't focus on what I didn't have that day. Instead, I focused on what can I do with my time. And both those clients are still my clients and have been, one for 23 years and the other one for about 20 years.
Amazing.
Because I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here's what I have highlighted. Let's look at the lifetime value of a client.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And if you've never done that, it's okay. But I want you to humor me if you're listening. First of all, I fucking appreciate you because we're 38 minutes in on a podcast before editing or whatever. And might not even be a lot to edit this episode because we kind of just free flowed. But so this is basic math and I'm going to explain it and I'll put it in the show notes so that you can see it. But here's the deal. We're going to work, first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying we're going to work in terms of how like we price at our salon. If you price differently, that's cool. You'll still get the point. So we're going to use a fake hair pro. And our fake hair pro charges $100 an hour. And we're going to name him Benjamin because it's a dope name. Okay.
Love it.
So because just saying fake hair pro is going to get annoying. So
Yeah.
I had to name him.
Can we call him Benji?
Yeah. All right. So Benji's average appointment, and here's how we're gonna arrive at the lifetime value of your clients. So follow along. You're gonna take Benji's average appointment. So Benji's average appointment is 2 hours. All right. Okay. Yours might be 4, might be 1. I don't know. Might be 30 minutes. Doesn't matter. So Benji's charging $100 an hour. His average appointment is 2 hours. All right. His average client comes in every 6 weeks. Why? because it's an example and I needed a number. 6 weeks seemed fun.
I like it.
All right. So Benji's average client is with him for 5 years.
Okay.
All right. Now, Jen just said she has 20 plus year clients. You might have 10, you might have 8, you might have just started. You might have, like, if you're just out of hair school and you have clients that have been with you for 6 months, yours is 6 months, right? If you want to look at how long you think you can keep someone, fine. Just to get your mind working on this is what I'm trying to do. Okay.
You need to understand the long term.
So let's take it from the top again real quick, right?
Not the now.
Benji charges $100 an hour. His average appointment is 2 hours. His average client comes in every 6 weeks, and his average client is with him for 5 years. So quick math, 100 times 2 is 200.
Mm-hmm.
So $200 per appointment. Seems cool, but it's not as cool as what we're going to get into right now.
Yeah.
So take a year. So you have 52 weeks and divide by 6 because 6 weeks is the appointment, the amount of time they're coming in. We get 8.6 visits per year.
Okay.
If you want to round, you can round, but I just use 8.6. So now we take 8.6 visits and
he likes math.
And we multiply by 200 because that's the average.
For the 5 years.
Nope. Oh. We're not even there yet.
Oh,
this is 1 year.
Oh.
So
okay.
You're going to see so Benji sees his clients 8.6 times a year. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to say 8.
Okay.
He sees his clients 8 times a year. Every time they come in, they give him $200.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really 8.6. So we get to per year $1,720.
Okay.
So it's no longer a $200 client.
Right.
That's a $1,700 client right there. Now, this is where things get fun. Conservatively, and you should be raising your fucking prices every year. If you're not, you're losing because inflation happens every year, but that's a different episode too.
Right. But let's say Benji doesn't own he's not raising his prices. Nope. Is that what you're going on?
No. We're going to raise them, but we're going to be conservative.
Okay.
So we're going to increase his rate by $10 an hour. That's it, which is 10%, which is too low because we understand consumer tolerance.
Yeah.
And what the marketplace supports. And it's probably 15 to 20%. But so even higher in some cases. But conservatively, we're going to say Benji increases his rate by $10 per year. So in year 1, it's $1,720, but in year 2, it's $1,892.
Nice.
So it goes up. Year 3 is $2,065. Year 4 is $2,236. And year 5 is $2,408. You don't need to know anything except it goes up every year. Now, we add those numbers up to get a lifetime value of the client of $10,320 over the course of 5 years. So if he keeps his client longer, that's even higher. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question. If you looked at your client as $10,000, instead of now, I'm not saying people are money. Don't start to twist this shit.
This goes
people.
back to where you're going with it. Yeah.
If you start to look at
lifetime of value,
the client as $10,000 rather than $200
when they cancel,
on you, okay, or when something comes up in their life, you may be a little more willing to understand. You may be. I don't know. What do you think happens?
I think you'd be fucking like that. So if you had a cancellation policy, that's the person you'd be like, I'm not going to charge you. And this is the problem. So that newer.
You have to charge them if you have a cancellation policy.
Right. So that's why you have to deal with people differently.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
As $10,000.
Right. Because
or $20,000 or $40,000, whatever your lifetime value is.
You're like, so when my 2 people canceled on whatever day, yeah, cool. Like, what can I do for you? Where can I help? What can I do? Like it I don't know. It doesn't hurt for the day, yes, and it hurts for the week, and it hurts for my paycheck. But at the end of the day, it's one's a 23-year client, the other one's a 20-year client. Like they've been
right. Are you willing to burn that for a few $100s?
There's a
you
relationship.
Said earlier
there.
Maybe $700. So like split that in half, $350 per person. You're willing to burn a 20-year relationship?
I'm not.
Or you're willing to burn the potential of a future 20 years?
Yeah, I'm not.
because
Never, ever.
yeah. So we did
I
this
always look at the relationship.
for sure. You have to look at both.
Yeah.
That's why we're looking at mindset and math.
And the long-term factor.
So
for sure.
we did this exercise with our staff, and it wasn't really an exercise. We did it in Slack, and a couple people were like, well, that changes things.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just starts to resonate. It's perspective for sure. And that's why it fit into the show. But
when you're giving a service to your clients too, you should look at it this way. Are you trying to keep them long-term? What experience are you giving? And if you can keep them long-term, there's a value there. It makes more sense to really give that experience because of the investment on both sides.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think starts to happen to Benji when he looks at things this way? He steps up his game for starters.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't look at $200. He looks at, I don't want $10K walking out the door.
Right.
Do you? I don't want
Nobody
$10K
does.
unhappy.
Yeah.
Do you? So now he's willing to invest in himself. And here's the deal. Listen up, hair pros. He's willing to invest in himself without needing to announce it on social media. Quick side note.
Please.
I never see other industries announce how much education they're doing. Have you?
And
please.
Or the prices that have gone up. No one cares what the fuck your shit costs.
No, I've talked about that before. You have too. Nobody needs an economics
If your
lesson.
prices go up, they go up. And the people you see,
look,
you put it, it's in salon.
Have you ever had seen a mechanic
media.
post that they had to go to a Jeep certification, so now that they have to raise their price? What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Just
and
do
if you're
business.
afraid to raise your prices, that's
Call
a different
us.
situation. Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, it's where it is. You don't need to explain all that stuff.
All right. I digress.
All right.
I digress.
I'll stop.
Now, ask yourself and be honest. What sets you apart from the other hair pros in your town?
So important.
And I said, be honest. So don't hit me with the whole my clients love me and I do good consults. Because everyone says that. So by definition, that's not different at all. When you are just posting what someone else posts, when you're just saying what someone else says,
that's an expectation.
Monkey
you
see,
better
monkey
give
do.
Good consultation.
Yeah, you're not being different. I'm talking about, here's the deal. Are you doing the little things or are you complacent?
Well
are you
said.
constantly striving to be better or do you avoid the foundations? Are you willing to take risks or are you okay with being passive? That's what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
All right. Hopefully this changes your view on clients, and if it doesn't,
I hope so too.
Remember one thing, if it doesn't, right? They're perfectly imperfect humans.
Yes.
Who are mostly trying to do their best.
Mostly. And also, if they're not a lifetime client and you've realized that, then you're doing them a disservice by not referring them to someone else.
Yeah, there it is. You don't have to be for everyone and they don't have to be for you. And that's okay. We can disagree.
Right.
We can disagree.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to get into a little more math exercises soon. But for now, I hope that you start to view your clients as a blessing and cherish them because there's nothing stopping them from going somewhere else. And that's it. So I just want to say thank you for listening. And we'll talk soon.
Leave us a ton of reviews so I can get Todd to go to the wedding.
Yeah. Get on our mailing list, all that fun stuff.
Have a great day.
And you know what else? Treat people kindly. That's my call to action.
And you're amazing.
All right.
I think so.
Thanks for listening. We're out. Bye.
Bye.